Then we have Yarnbjorn. Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Marvel Legends action figure review on the Netflix Man-Thing Build-A-Figure Waves Punisher. If you're trying to pick this up, you can get it right now.
Big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
Alright, I'm stoked. We have Daredevil and we also have Punisher over here. I love that we're adding more and more MCU characters, even though it's not the cinematic universe, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we get a nice image of Punisher right over there, and on the very back you can see a product shot. There's a read-up over here. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it now. There's the other figures from the wave. We get Punisher again on this side, and we get a very cool Punisher logo at the very top. Like that very much, and not much more at the bottom. So let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's our Jon Bernthal Punisher out of the packaging, and not a bad looking figure, man. I'm actually pretty stoked about this figure. It's not a perfect figure. There's a lot of little things here and there that I wish were done just a little bit differently, but I mean, just looking at it, as you can see right here, it's not a bad piece, and I'm very happy adding it to my collection. Now, he does have a couple of accessories aside from the Build-A-Figure piece, so let's get a closer look at those, and then we'll get a closer look at the Punisher. So again, I don't know a whole lot about guns, and it's kind of funny to me because it's like, out of all the people out there that know a lot about guns, you could either be in the military and thank you for protecting my freedom and our country and everything, or you could just be some snotty little brat that plays a lot of Call of Duty. So it's kind of funny to me that you could be either or you could be this guy right here. Ooh, don't want to be that guy. Anyway, looking at this pistol right here, it looks like it's a Glock. I'm just going to say Glock. And you can see a little bit of marbling in the plastic. You have this fairly vibrant silver that it's made out of. No paint added to it or anything like that. I'm fairly certain we've seen this before. Then we have this assault rifle right here, looking pretty good. I do like how the scope looks on it, and I think we've seen this one before too. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But, you know, both of them look pretty good, and he can hold both of them fairly well in his hands. He has trigger fingers on both sides, so you could see, you know, there's one right hand, and then you get this one right here, and just goes right in there pretty easily. And as you saw earlier, you could use the other hand as a supporting hand for this. One thing that's a little unfortunate about the accessories is that there is no weapon storage for the pistol. I don't expect weapon storage for this big guy right here, but, you know, some holster for the pistol would have been really good, you know, just on the side. It just would have made a lot. It's the Punisher, man. Now, comparing this Jon Bernthal figure to a couple of images that I found online, you could see that Hasbro did a fairly good job of replicating the scarred face of Jon Bernthal in the Daredevil Season 2 series. They didn't get every single scratch exactly on point, but I do think they nailed it with the scratches or the cuts on his nose, because that seemed fairly accurate. And I do like how beat up this looks. I mean, his face looks very bruised, especially underneath his eyes. You can see a little bit of that purplish pink color underneath his eyes right there. He has those gashes along the bridge of his nose. And then on this side, it looks fairly clean, except for the 5 o'clock shadow running down the side of his face. So that's pretty cool. You can see a little bit of the stubbly going on around right over there. Then above his lip and everything too. And the mouth paint looks pretty solid. The eye paint looks pretty good to me. I am pleased with that. We even get some nice wrinkles on the forehead. I like how the hair sculpt looks too. They didn't go with the fully, you know, shaved head or anything. They went with the how he looked a little bit later on in the season, which is nice. And looking on the back, you can see a little bit of extra splotchage, but still looks pretty good. And the plastic got chewed up a little bit back there. Not too bad, man. I'm pleased with this head sculpt. I think it's fairly accurate head sculpt. I think Hasbro's been really doing a great job with the head sculpts lately. And then looking right over here on the chest, I am a little bummed out that we didn't get enough black paint right over here. So there's this weird flesh gap that bothers me a bit. But looking at the skull, I do think it looks awesome. I love how this white paint came out over the black. That looks incredible. I'm very pleased with that. I love the design choice for this too. I think it's a very smart choice, you know, messy looking Punisher skull. I like it. Very awesome. And then you can see some nice texturing in the sculpt right over here with his bulletproof vest and everything. So I'm liking that. Got a lot of sculpted details right here on the side. As you know, it's mostly all black figure, so I have to really turn up the settings so you can see all the little sculpted line work and everything. And you do get a little bit of gappage as you pull that joint back, you know, it's one thing I'd mentioned with some of the other figures. And then looking at the legs right over here, they look pretty solid, nice texturing in there. We do get some wrinkles in the knee joints, this Punisher butt, and some more wrinkles right over here. The boots look really good too, get these very militaristic styled boots. Doc Martens, or these Doc Martens. And he has some nice treads at the bottom of his feet and some hole pegs right there. And I do like that the trench coat is made out of a fairly soft material. I'm very pleased with that. I like that a lot. makes it easy for posing. And we also get some nice wrinkles right here in the jacket. Now, an unfortunate thing is that I wish he had a pair of fisted hands. That would have been really cool to have with this figure. But one thing that you can do, you can pop these off. And that white Iron Fist figure that came out a while ago, you can take the fists from that, and you can just go ahead and pop the right in there. And now he has fists. And it matches the flesh tone pretty close. And I think that looks pretty good. So if you want him, you know, throwing his dukes, you know, against the Daredevil, you can do that. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And you can interchange it with other hands. But yeah, the fisted hands is what I really wanted this figure to come with. But yeah, again, if you have that white Iron Fist, you can swap those out. It's fairly easy to do. And another thing you can do is you can go ahead and pop the head off. Well, you don't have to pop the head off. I don't know why I did that. But you can go ahead and remove this jacket if you want to. I took a couple pictures of Punisher fighting Daredevil, and he had no jacket on, so you could take that off. And, you know, surprisingly, it doesn't look that bad. You don't have to take the head off to take off the jacket. But, you know, most of the time, the arms look totally out of proportion when you do something like this. But on this figure, it's not too terrible. I actually think it still looks all right, you know? It's not awful, but doesn't look as good with the jacket on, I think. Now for Articulation, you can move the head up quite a bit, like as far up as you could possibly want in an action figure, so that makes me very happy. That's pretty sweet. You can move the head all the way down, and you get that shifting forward and back. You get side-to-side movement over here, and just a tiny little bit of head wobblage, not enough to call it a neck pivot. Shoulders move outward that far. You can move them downward this much, not all the way down, but down far enough. You get a full 360, you get a bicep swivel, you get a single jointed elbow that does bend in more than 90 degrees. You also get rotation at the elbow, you get rotation on the wrist, and both wrists hinge up and down. We get a diaphragm joint over here that turns side to side. You get some nice diaphragm pivot, and he crunches forward, and he crunches back. And we also get a waist swivel, which makes me very happy, because if you don't want to break up the skull logo on his chest right over here, you don't have to. So that makes me very pleased, or else you'd be stuck doing this kind of thing and that would look terrible. Yeah, so I'm very pleased that they added the waist swivel along with the diaphragm joint. Hip joints allow him to move his legs outward that far. It's kind of a funny pose. And he can kick forward that much and back only a little bit. He has an upper thigh cut, double jointed knees that bend in all the way, and then he does not have any boot rotation up here. I wish he had boot rotation right there, but he does have ankles that move all the way down. They do move up some, and of course he does have the ankle pivot. Now to measure out this Netflix Punisher figure, you can see that he is standing just under 7 inches tall. And then for your live action Punisher comparison, we have our Jon Bernthal Punisher next to the Thomas Jane Punisher from Toy Biz Marvel Legends Series 6. Remember, this was the dud of that wave for you long-time Marvel Legends collectors. Don't you remember this was the one that nobody wanted from that wave? But anyway, this is the only other live action Punisher that we have for Marvel Legends. And I gotta ask you guys, which Punisher do you like more? I do like Jon Bernthal, but I am not totally sold on him for him being my favorite cinematic Punisher so far. Thomas Jane has been my favorite cinematic Punisher, and I don't know, I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think. If I remember, I'm going to put a poll right over here, but yeah, I do like the Bernthal Punisher, but I don't know, which one do you like more? And then to continue with some more Punisher comparisons, we have the Hitmonkey Wave Punisher. I think that's from the Hitmonkey Wave. Then we have the Toy Biz Series 4 Punisher, and then we have our recently released Hasbro Punisher. I think that was the Walgreens exclusive, and I did add this holster right over here. And I'm sure some of you want to see a trench coat swap between these two, so to show that off, that doesn't really look so bad. Actually, that looks really good with the longer trench coat. I mean, I really like this newer one over here, but still, I don't know. I think that actually looks a little bit better. And I guess if you wanted to do some head swaps, now I'm kind of curious to see how that would look. And it looks like you can. So you can make yourself a pretty decent comic book Punisher figure out of this Jon Bernthal Punisher, right? I think that's actually pretty awesome. So yeah, if you want to have that in your display, you could. And this looks kind of weird right over here. But a side note, removing this trench coat is very difficult. It's just very hard plastic compared to the soft plastic from the newer one. Punisher Party, yeah! Whoa, okay, everybody's so serious. Okay, I'll go now. I'll go. Then here's another Netflix figure compared to the Spider-Man Homecoming tech suit figure. That makes me very happy. Once again, hitting the geek spot. I want to see these two on screen again. Punisher was introduced in Marvel Comics through Amazing Spider-Man, so yeah, I'm very stoked to see these two side by side. It makes me very, very happy, and I hope to see them fight each other at one point or team up or something. And then here's a new Punisher figure next to the other figures from this wave that I've already reviewed. And a lot of you have requested that I try to do a head swap with the maskless Matt Murdock head sculpt over here, and I haven't tried this yet. Ooh, yeah, it doesn't seem like that's gonna really fit on there. So yeah, the peg just doesn't match. It doesn't make any sense anyway, man. That doesn't look like Charlie Cox at all. I don't see why you'd want to do that. And then here's the Bernthal Punisher next to the Marvel Legends Big Time No Letdown Spider-Man. Yeah, so there's a Punisher on the flight stand from Mafex. One thing that's worth mentioning is that mid-torso joint, the diaphragm joint, is a bit looser than I'd like it to be. I can't get him hunching forward or, you know, hanging by this piece right over here without the rest of the torso kind of slumping downward. You'll know what I'm talking about once you get the figure in hand. Just keep an eye on that diaphragm joint. It can get a little bit loose. I do like the figure. I do have gripes with it. It's not my favorite figure from this wave, but I'm very happy to have it. I'm not bummed out at all that it's in this set. I'm glad that we have a Netflix Punisher figure, so I'm very happy for it, but at the same time, a few more weapons would have been cool. A holster would have been nice, and not too much else, man. I think it's, and oh yeah, the interchangeable fists too. So, I don't know. I think the gripes are fairly minor. I'm pretty stoked about having a Punisher from the Netflix series. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, please hit the like button. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the review. Let me know what you think of the figure. If you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do so for more Shartimus Prime videos coming your way. And if you've already hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell so you know immediately when the next Shartimus Prime video is posted. And to secure that my videos are showing up in your subscription feed, YouTube can get a little wacky. And speaking of wacky YouTube, I gotta give a big thanks to all these people over here for supporting this YouTube channel and allowing me to put the time into making these videos. If you guys want to see a photo gallery of images, it'll be over at marvelousnews.com, and you can follow me on the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links in the description below. I'll catch you guys later. Bang. I'm gonna play with my toys today. 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 Well, I don't care what the strangers say. I'm gonna play with my toys today.
That's crispy.
We're shot in your face. I said we're shot in your face. I said we're shot in your face. I said we're shot in your face. I said